What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 3, Episode 6. So let's start off with Heather. Heather wants to start a choir, of all things. She gives this spiel about how important spirituals are. Did she say spiritual or hymns? Church music, I guess. How important church music is and non-church music is to her. And it's just so funny to me how these housewives will, out of nowhere, get these wacky ideas to do something and then talk about how whatever it is has been so important to them their whole entire lives. But we have yet to see Heather sing a nursery rhyme, let alone want to conduct an entire choir. But music is that important to her. So even though has never been mentioned before, I don't think it's ever been mentioned that Heather is really into music like that. But anyway, so here we are. And another thing about these housewives, whenever they do get an idea to do something, they know how to sell it. Her whole thing about how music has really impacted her, it's important to her. She couldn't get through life without music and church music and gospel music and whatever the hell else. She knew how she can really sell it. It can make you really think that, oh wow, music really is important to this woman. But anywho, here we are. So she meets up with Dre, her business partner, and she meets up with Corey, a choir director, and they're going to be holding auditions to put a choir together. And it's funny how Dre is her business partner at the beauty spa, but also she's going to be dibble-dabbling in choir. Like, this is wacky to me that Heather wants to start a choir. This is so wacky and so like random. Moving on from there, now we have Jen. So her and her husband, Coach Shaw, they go to some jumperoo type of place, and they get a chance to talk. And she tells Coach how, she says, remember how I told you a while back that there was this website that was saying all these horrible things about me and Lisa, and it was called Shaw Exposed. Well, at the time, Jen says that she really couldn't deal with it directly because she had a lot going on, but now since there's like a lull in her legal actions, she's been able to give this Shaw Exposed account a little bit more of her time. So Lisa had told Jen that Angie's husband, Chris Harrington, is the one that's behind this account. So this is what she's telling her husband, Coach Shaw. And so Coach Shaw is completely confused, and he's like, why would the Harringtons want to create a fake account that was designed to attack you? Like, I don't understand. You know, I thought they were our friends. I thought they were good people. Like, what the hell is going on? So moving on from there, now we have Lisa. She's at home with her son, Jack, and her husband. And they're talking about him going to college. And so far, I'm pretty sure this boy is going to end up going to college, but of course they have to create some type of a storyline to keep things going. But right now, he's going to act like he doesn't want to go to college, and so Lisa and her husband are very worried about this because, you know, college is important, and you can't listen to social media influencers who talk about how they didn't go to college, but they're making millions and millions of dollars, and how college is a waste of time. And the father says, instead of listening to the people who are so against college, well, why don't you give a chance to the people who think that college is a great opportunity? Because, you know, it's very biased, the people that you're gravitating towards. So whatever, they just want the boy to go to college. I'm pretty sure he's going to end up going to college. Moving on from there, we have Whitney. So Whitney's at home and she's having a conversation with her husband, Justin. And Justin gives this long story about how he goes, remember when, I don't even know if, anyways, I don't know if she was telling the story, if he was telling the story. I think, anyways, there was a time when Justin was trying to have a conversation with Whitney, and Whitney was not in the right headspace. Is she ever? She was stressing about something or going through something, so she really couldn't give her husband any time or attention. But what he wanted to tell her at that moment was that he had been fired from work. And so now they're having a follow-up conversation about that. So he was fired from work, and the reason why he was fired was because of Whitney. And I fast forwarded through that part last season when her and Justin were doing the Art is Love thing. Y'all, it was too cringy for me to watch. I fast forwarded through it. So I know what they're talking about. I just don't know the details of what went on in that scene. It was just too cringe. So because of that particular scene, his job had let him go. And Whitney feels like she's entitled to do and whatever the hell she wants to do on this show, that she can just be whoever and do whatever with no consequences. And just as much as Whitney, just as much as you want to do whatever you want to do, well, everybody else also has the right to do whatever the hell they want to do. And they wanted to fire Justin over your shenanigans. And that's exactly what they did. It just wasn't a good look for the company at all, so they had to let him go. To each their own. You know what I'm saying? Whitney, you just have to understand that in your quest in embracing your womanhood, embracing your freedom from the Mormon church, you know, explore, do whatever the hell you're doing, just to understand there's consequences to it all. And just be prepared for that. You know, don't be mad, just be prepared. Maybe then you can kind of think twice of the things that you do on camera that everybody's going to see, your children and your husband's employer. So moving on from there, Heather is behind on her book deadline. She's having a meeting at her, was she having a meeting at work? I forgot where she was at, but she's behind on her book deadline. She's writing a book and her agent has told her that, look, you are really dropping the ball on this because I've been pressuring you constantly to turn in some work, and I'm getting pressure from the publisher, you know, to turn in the work to them, and you're not doing it, and they're on the verge of just dropping you right now. So Heather's talking about how she's just overwhelmed with everything. She's got the book. She didn't realize how difficult and how time consuming it was to write this damn book. Then she talks about how when she wants to talk about something specific that happened to her, she realizes that when she's too real, it might offend some people. But then when she pulls back, it's not her authentic self. So it's taken a whole lot longer to get chapters written, to get stuff down in the book, because she keeps on going back and forth with what should she put in, how much should she put in, how much should she expose. So that's like time consuming. Then she has her own business because her business is growing. The beauty, what do they call it? The beauty bar, the beauty spa. I have no idea. Her beauty business, her salon, whatever it is, her spa, it's growing, and they're trying to open up a whole nother location. So that's taking up a lot of her time. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, if you have all of this going on, why in the world do you want to start a choir? Then the conversation goes to Lisa and how she had posted on her social media a text exchange between her and Heather. And she had posted Heather's father's obituary to prove that when Heather had said in last year's reunion, when Heather had said that Lisa had really horrible timing when she texted Heather and said, well, I hope your father is doing better. And Heather had said at the reunion that at that point, when she got that text, her father had passed away already. So it just shows how uninvolved Lisa is with any of these friends of hers, how she just doesn't care. She's really cold. She's not checking on anybody. She's just tone deaf to everything. So it was really important for Lisa to prove to the world that, hey, when I sent her that text message about, hey, I hope your father's doing better, her father, in fact, had not died. So that's when she had posted the obituary to show, I guess, when the man passed away. And then she also posted the text message to show when she had sent that text to Heather. Lisa is off the wall, off the damn wall. She's so crazy because, girl, it doesn't even matter whether you had sent that text to her when her father was alive or not, because either way, it was just insensitive. The context of the text itself, the message of it, was extremely insensitive, because even though her father had not passed away at the time that you had sent that text, and you're right, you're absolutely right, her father had not passed away. it doesn't negate the fact that what you said was extremely heartless. Extremely heartless. To say, oh, hope your father's feeling better, as if he's just getting over a cold, when the man was on his dying bed and then passed away not soon after that text was sent. He was taking his last breaths when you sent that text. Can you imagine how Heather must have felt when she received it? You know, when she saw, as she watched her father die. Lisa is just unbelievable. And she just doesn't get it. It was so important to her to prove herself right that she completely overlooked the fact that you are talking about something that involved this woman's father passing away. Why can't you just let her have it? You just apologize and just let her, okay, I'm so sorry. I sent it at the wrong time. I really do apologize. I was a real bonehead for doing that. And then just move on and just leave it at that. But you're so like I gotta prove that I'm right. I gotta prove that I'm right. To the point, girl, that was just absolutely disgusting, Lisa. That was wrong. And they're gonna put the man's obituary on social media to really throw it in her face and have her relive her father's death. The women on this show, unbelievable. Moving on to Whitney. So she and Yoga, Lord have mercy. She and Lisa are out. They went to a place to go do yoga. And Whitney tells Lisa that Justin had left his company. And so Lisa was like, oh, did he leave it voluntarily? You know, Lisa already knew the what's up. She already knew that Justin got fired. But she says, oh, did he leave it voluntarily? And Whitney said something like, well, it was just in the best decision for both him and the company for them to part ways. Or she said something like that. You know, she said that trying to say that he left without saying that he was fired. Lisa says in her confessional that Justin getting fired is all over social media. Everybody knows what's going on with that. Okay. So they showed a headline where it said that Justin was fired over the cringy bedroom scene with Whitney. So then they talk about Lisa's post of Heather's dad's obituary and all of that. And Lisa admits that she went about it wrong, but she had every right to defend herself. She's awful, awful, awful. If I didn't think that she was awful before, this right here solidifies Lisa's awful. Meredith and her husband meet up with Angie H. and her husband Chris. Angie denies the whole thing about, you know, the rumor that was going around that Lisa was exchanging favors for basketball tickets and people to invest in Vita. Angie says, I didn't say any of that stuff. Angie's husband said that the last time that he saw John and Lisa, John had told him to get the F away from him. So he was like, you know, what's going on? You know, why is John upset with me? We'll come to find out. They found out somehow, and I wonder how they found out, but they found out somehow that Chris Harrington was behind that fake account, that Shaw exposed account that was talking bad things about about Jen Shaw and Lisa. So Chris admits right then and there at the dinner that, yeah, I had created a fake account and it was really immature of me, but I did it because Lisa was being attacked online. So this was my way of protecting my wife. What? So your wife does awful things on this show, and she's being called on the carpet for all the horrible things that she does. And okay, so let's put all that aside. Let's say your wife is a saint. She's an angel. She's innocent, hasn't done anything wrong, and she's being attacked online by people that you think are members of the cast. So instead of either trying to talk to your wife and try to tell her either to get off social media so you don't have to see these things, or take it for a grain of salt. Don't worry about the things that people say. Trying to build your wife's exterior, trying to strengthen her exterior so she can deal with these things. You jump right in the mud and do the very things that you accuse others of doing to your wife. And that makes sense to you. And you do the most immature thing of all, is that you create a fake account. Oh, did I say his wife was Lisa? I mean, his wife is Angie. Whatever the hell was being said about Angie. I said Lisa. His wife, Angie, not Lisa. So Angie was the one being attacked online. And so that's when he felt like he had to create this fake account. It's just so stupid. Moving on to Jen. Jen goes over to Heather's house. And Jen tells Heather that it was Chris Harrington who had created the Shaw Exposed account. And Heather acts really shocked, and her reaction to me was just a little bit over the top. It was kind of like she was really playing it up. It kind of made me think that she already knew. She really played up that scene. I mean, her reaction was just so, it gave Dynasty, it gave As the World Turns, it gave Young and the Restless kind of drama. I mean, it was just, Heather, you were doing the most. So then Jen was like, okay, if he created that account to attack Lisa because Lisa was supposedly attacking Angie, why would he call it Shaw Exposed? And so they go back to the dinner to show his explanation for like why he called it Shaw Exposed. And Chris said that he called it Shaw Exposed because the name was available, so he took it. So you're going to drag in someone that's got nothing to do with the beef going on between your wife and Lisa and name that account after her. Like, why? Why would you do that? Why couldn't you name it Whitney Exposed or Heather Exposed? Or why did it have to be that? And not only, and Jen Shaw's issue was not the fact that it was called, it wasn't the fact that he created this account, you know, to imitate her or whatever the hell he was doing. It was the fact that he took the family name of Shaw to name this account. He could have just put Jen Exposed. Like if he was so gung-ho about it had to be Jen's name, he could have put Jen Exposed or Jen Shaw Exposed. But just, so that's the thing that really had offended Jen. And I'm just like, these people are nuts. So it makes no sense. Did you, is it because she was like the only minority on the cast, Chris Harrington? And that's why you felt the need to call it Shaw Exposed, because you just really completely disregarded her as a human. And you were just like, I'll just take, you know, the one woman of color on the show and name my fake account after her, because who the hell cares about her? Like, why would you do that? And I'm Jen is no angel. I have said whatever. I have said what I had to say about Jen in previous videos and her deceiving senior citizens and all of that. But why would you choose her out of all? Like, you don't have the wherewithal to come up with anything a little bit more creative than that. Chris Harrington and anyways. So it was very hurtful to Jen because she was going through a lot, you know, with her legal problems. And then this fake account pops up out of nowhere with her name on it. And Jen tells Heather that she needs to watch how she moves with Chris and Angie. Now, Heather has always been kind of sort of like the voice of reason on this franchise. And she's always been sort of like middle of the road. She wants everybody to get along. But for her to take sides with someone who's as problematic as Angie Harrington, I'm beginning to see a completely different side of Heather. I don't know if she's trying to like spice things up, trying to spice up her image, so she can be more interesting. I don't know what the hell's going on with Heather this season. Now it's the day of the auditions for the choir. Jen is upset because when she shows up, she sees Angie H there. Angie Harrington is there. And Angie Harrington is there with Whitney because they're going to be auditioning together to be on this choir. So Jen really has it out for Heather because she's like, I can't believe Heather would do this after the conversation that we had with the whole Shaw Exposed thing and Chris Harrington. But now she's going to allow Angie Harrington to show. First of all, wasn't this kind of like anybody could show up for the damn audition? Like, why? How could Heather control Angie on whether or not she was going to come and audition for this damn choir or whatever the hell they're doing? Because Angie Harrington and Angie Harrington and Whitney are going to be doing some song and dance, you know, with the like a not a vaudeville act, but like a, I don't know what they call it, like a can girl type of thing, or the Rockettes kind of little routine. And I'm just like, What? I thought this was a choir. Why are y'all coming up there dancing? And Jen, if you're that upset with Heather for allowing Angie H to come to the audition, well, how do you feel about Whitney that she's auditioning with Angie H? I'm so confused. Anyway, I'm going to stop it right here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I truly do appreciate it if anybody is sticking through these reviews about this crazy show. On your way out, do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.